Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have received a lot of requests to do a tutorial for a floral wreath. So I figured that that's what we're gonna do today. This is an example of something that we're going to recreate. It is actually really simple. We're just gonna do some very simplified flowers and some leafy garnishes, or whatever you like to call them. So to get started, what you're gonna need, of course, is a cup of water or a dish or something, a palette. I'm going to be filling this up with some Wreath's watercolor paints in the tubes. You can also, as always, use the pre-filled palettes if you like. I just prefer these. You're also going to need a pencil, a bowl or something round, an eraser for later, and a couple brushes. I'm gonna be using this silver black velvet brush. It's a 3000S round, and it's a number 12 brush. So it is a decent size. It's got a nice soft bristle, and it comes to a point. So you basically just want like a round brush with a point. The other brush we're gonna use is a 3000S round, also a black velvet by silver brush, and it's a number 6 brush, and again it is the rounded with the point. So to begin, I'm just going to use 4 colors for this. I'm going to use a sap green, a crimson red, a phthalo blue, and a yellow ochre. So I'm just going to put a little dab of each into my palette, and then we can get started. Alright, so first you're going to take your bowl or your something round. I like this size bowl because it's great on the paper and will leave us enough room on each edge to kind of do the leafy bits. So this is just going to be used as a guide for the circle of the wreath. So you want to just take your pencil and you're going to go very lightly. You really don't want to make that much of an impression on the paper with your pencil because it will be just a little bit more difficult to erase at the end. So just do it as light as you can and just trace the circle onto your paper. So this is just going to be the guide that we're going to follow, and it kind of gives us an idea of where to place the flowers and where to place the leaves. Next we're going to start by doing the flowers. I'm going to do some really simple flowers. If you want to take a look at my other tutorial for painting simplified roses, you can definitely do that, and that would also create like a really cool rosy kind of wreath. This one's going to be a little spring inspired. So I'm going to be using the red colors, and I'm going to kind of make a purple with the blue and the red. So I'm just going to take a bit of water, and then I'm going to grab some of the red. I'm just going to mix it on my palette right here. Alright, so you don't want this too watery, but you also don't want it too dry. So kind of try to find a happy medium. If you need to test this on your paper first, go ahead and do that. But to start, we're just going to pick a spot around the circle that we drew, and we're going to kind of draw a flower to start. So you're going to start off light with the tip of the brush, and then as you go down, you're going to press and then release back to a point. I'm going to do another one right beside that one. So I'm going to start with light pressure on the tip. Press hard to really get the belly of the brush down onto the paper, and then lighten your grip again back to a point. You can kind of add more colors to this if you want to. Each petal can be different if you want. It's really up to you. So we're going to do one more petal here. So you're going to start light, press down, and then release. And we're just going to place these kind of sporadically around the circle, but we don't want to make too many of them so that there's not enough space to put the leaves, and with the green bits. So I'm gonna maybe put another one right here. You can change the direction that they're facing as well if you want to. I might try to make this side kind of face this way and these ones point more towards this way. And you can do 2 petals or 3 petals. Maybe I'll just do 2 petals there. And then I'll grab a little more of this red color. Maybe I'll put one down here. And maybe we want to do like a smaller kind of flower bud. So we're just going to do a small petal, kind of using the same technique, only smaller, and we'll just kind of make a little bud shape like that. Maybe we'll put another one here. And you can also add more water or less water and make different transparencies for these petals, but we're just going to keep it really easy right now. So for the green, I'm going to be using the number 6 brush. It's smaller, so it gives you a little bit more control. And I'm just going to take some of the green and I'm going to add a little bit of the yellow in there so that it's not so bright green. So you get kind of this more, it is a sap green, but you get more of a sappy color if you just add in a little bit of yellow. But again, you can experiment yourself and do whatever you like. So to begin, we're just gonna do some stems from the flowers. So what you wanna do here is try to keep in mind where the stem will end up. If you want some of the stems to kind of bunch together, you're gonna have to keep that in mind. So we'll start at the top here. We'll just kind of do a stem that just kind of fades back into this flower here. So then this one, down, and then maybe this one comes out of it. This is just kind of totally up to you how you want the actual stems to blend into one another. Maybe this one came from over here, and this one, maybe this one continues, goes down, that's from this stem, and then maybe this one comes from over here. Make sure all of them have a stem when you're finished. And now we can add on some leaves and things like that. So to make one of the leafy bits, if you want to add actual like leaves to the stems, you can kind of use the same technique as we were doing with the petals. Start with a light tip and push down in the middle and bring it around. So something like that. So you push in the middle, so you start light, push, get that color on there, and then lighten the pressure as you get to the end. So we'll add another one here. Maybe there's one coming off here. Try to make the leaves, the size of the leaves in balance with the size of the flower. So you're not gonna have like a teeny tiny little leaf on one of the bigger flowers and then like a large leaf on one of the smaller ones. It just probably doesn't happen that way in nature. So now what we're gonna do is add in some of those, I never know what they're called. These things. These leafy things. I always forget what they're called, but we're gonna do that. And again, we're just gonna kind of do them randomly. I wanna balance out this side with this side because this kind of looks like it has more going on. It goes up a bit higher. So just keeping the balance in mind, you kind of wanna keep it the same on both sides. So one side isn't overpowering the other side. So kind of try to place things on one side if it needs a little more weight. Yeah, so let's go ahead and we'll match with this side here and we'll just add a leafy bit or whatever they're called coming out here. So you're just gonna do a stem like I've done here. And then the same kind of technique. Lighter, harder, lighter. I'm gonna do one at the top like that, and then we're gonna do the ones at the side. So lighter, harder, lighter, lighter, harder, lighter. And then on the other side, lighter, lighter, harder, and then lighter, down, harder, lighter. And let's stick another one in here. So again, lighter, harder, lighter, lighter, harder, lighter. Fix up some of these stems that kind of go off into nowhere, because it's nicer if they just kind of get hidden behind some of the flowers as opposed to having like a stem just sticking out like this one here. So maybe I'll just bring that down behind the flower and then add something like on top of it here. Another one of these guys. So I've just gone through and I've added a couple more of these little buds right here just because I thought it needed a little something more. So now what I'm going to do is add a little bit more dimension to the flowers now that they should be dry. So I'm just going to go in and grab a bit of a darker color, and then I'm going to, just on some of the leaves, just kind of go over what I did previously. To just add a little more life. I need more red in my palette, we'll see. And I'm just gonna try to focus on the bottom half. So it's just kind of adding more transparent layers to the flower. You can see what I just did right there. You can also do it to the little guys if you want to. But yeah, I'm not going over the whole leaf. I'm just kind of focusing on the top half down to the bottom. And again, I am pushing and releasing with the same kind of pressure that I used before. So hopefully you guys managed to create a floral wreath of your own. Once this is all dry, all you want to do is take your eraser and just erase the pencil line. You can actually just go right over your painting once it is totally dry, and it'll get rid of the rest of the line. I hope that you enjoyed this floral wreath watercolor tutorial. If you did, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe. Also, if you're interested in learning more about watercolor and learning how to paint in watercolor, I will be creating an online course completely dedicated to this. So if you want that, go to the link here and sign up for notification and early access. So thank you guys so much for watching. You can find me on Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, my blog, everywhere. So come and say hi, show me your paintings, tag me if you post something on Instagram. I love seeing your work. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.